Welcome to the Ideas with Impact podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra. Today we had the pleasure of introducing a world-traveling father and professional speaker, Majeed, who is the founder of the Expert Speaker Institute, the premier resource for experts to grow their business with public speaking. Majeed, like magic, will help you go from the best kept secret to the go-to person in your field with a signature speech that attracts your ideal client. Let's welcome Majeed to the show. Hello, Majeed. How are you?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for hopping on, having a conversation with me.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. So, Majeed, can you share your journey and how you became an expert speaker and what really inspired you to pursue this path?
Well, I'm one of those people who believe that I can make a living doing what I love. Thank goodness. And what I really wanted to do with my career when I was just a teenager was I wanted to choose some career that would get me traveling. So I actually went to university and I studied a degree called international business because I thought those words meant traveling, international business. And meanwhile, I was in the speech team and the theater team performing as a hobby. That's a joy of mine. And then I saw where those two worlds meet, business and speaking. I realized there's a whole industry, and I saw this character called motivational speaker. And I imagined a motivational speaker going to different conferences and performing a speech and getting paid to do it. So I studied how to become a professional speaker. And I got on speaking circuits and I got connected with organizations that would give me multiple speeches in different countries. And then I realized the people who were making the most money from speaking are not actually the ones getting paid to speak. They're actually the ones that are speaking with some sort of a product or a service to sell. So I learned that I can package my knowledge and sell it in the form of courses and coaching programs. So I started making money that way. And then I started teaching other people how to land speaking engagements, how to use the stage or the digital stage, whether that's a podcast or a webinar, to communicate value and generate income from selling a product or a service. So I work with clients now who are holistic wellness practitioners who want to sell their wellness programs. I work with life coaches who want to sell their life coaching programs. I work with consultants who want to sell six-figure contracts to corporate. And so we live in a world now where we all have a personal brand. It used to be called reputation. Now we call it a personal brand. And we all have a media channel, social media. And we all have an audience, our friends, our followers, our subscribers, and all that. So we all have an opportunity to serve humanity and contribute our wisdom through speaking and through sharing our wisdom. And I've learned how to really monetize that. So I help my clients do that.
So are you, were you always that open? Because what I know is that you are very well representative, like you represent yourself very well. Were you always like that? Or because you went through the schooling, it taught you how to present yourself on stage? Because not everybody has that, right?
I think I always liked attention. I think I always liked making people laugh. I always liked being silly. You know the term class clown.
Yeah, have a little bit of charisma, right?
Yeah, so I was always making jokes. My dad is Iranian, and he's always making jokes, never being appropriate, always inappropriate. This is our family way. So I like to make people laugh. And what was always true for me is I always was very competitive to be the best. And so I learned what a goal is, setting goals. You know, I've met adults in their 50s who don't know how to set goals. So I learned very early on, set goals, make plans, achieve goals. And so studying personal development, which is, I think, the science of goal achievement. And I always wanted to share that. So I always find myself wanting to put together a room full of people. Just this weekend, I had 12 guys over at my house teaching a few things I know about journaling as a matter of fact, which I think is one of the most powerful ways to achieve your goals is through journaling. And so I've always had a passion to learn how to improve myself and to share that wisdom. And so that's always been true for me.
Hmm. So you just mentioned about having men and inspiring and teaching them about journaling. Do you find that it's something new for men to go into?
We've been using paper for the beginning of time. We've been, in fact, when I opened up my workshop on journaling, I said, you know why the Egyptians are so famous for their accomplishments is they were the ones credited for inventing paper. They called it papyrus. And as I opened my journaling workshop, I said, the pen that you hold in your hand is the same tool that has started wars and has named nations and has knighted people and married people. It's the thing that binds you to your government, to your laws. Like, this is a very powerful tool. It's a weapon of mass creation, if you wish. They say the pen is mightier than the sword.
Mm.
So what may seem new or modern is men identifying and communicating their feelings. My theory is that as men in the past, we didn't really have the luxury of talking about our feelings or feeling our
Or
feelings.
expressing yourself fully, yeah.
Yeah, we had wars to fight, and we had animals to hunt, and we had work to do. And I find, I live in Canada, which is a modern nation where we have so much time on our hands that we get to go on strike and protest gender pronouns and all sorts of things that we just have so much time to be upset about, where most of the world, men, they got work to do. We got work to do, right? And I think men working is good for men. I'm speaking for myself anyway. So is it new to journal? Is it new to talk about our feelings? I don't know. It's certainly not new to use the pen to take ideas and manifest them.
Mm. How is it? Do you work with both women and men, correct?
I do, mostly women, as a matter of fact.
Okay. So this question is kind of like, I wouldn't say which one is easier, but which one is more open and why?
Well, the men I work with tend to be driven to achieve and accomplish. And the women I work with feel a calling to express themselves. And I've learned just a little bit about the chakras. I actually worked with a woman. She's called the throat chakra shaman. She's like the expert on the throat chakra. So she told me all about this throat chakra. She said, when you can speak your truth, which can sometimes be dangerous for women, and they
Right.
feel like they need to hold it
Yes.
in, and then they end up getting jaw pain and neck pain.
Yeah.
When you speak your truth and when you live your purpose, your throat chakra is open. So the women that I come to have been holding in their truth for a long time. And they come to me to help them express it through words. And sometimes they're graduating out of one purpose and moving into another purpose, either because they're having a major life change or their role as a mother is becoming less important and their role as a contributor to society is starting to take priority. So I'm helping them to communicate. And in businesses run on sales, and sales is communication, 100%. That's all sales is. It's listening and communicating. And so when clients come to me because they want to start a business or grow a business, they're coming to me really to help them communicate the value of what they have. Because when people understand their value and trust the value, we can have a transaction.
That's a good point. Yes. And so what are the key qualities or skills that a person like yourself or anybody who's getting into the speaking realm should develop in order to succeed in this very growing industry right now?
Well, I think one of the things that's really helpful for anybody is called mindfulness. And mindfulness is presence. It's being here in this moment and not worrying about the future or reliving the past. And when you speak and it comes across grounded and confident, that's when you're mindfully choosing your words with intention. It's not rehearsed. It's allowing yourself to be the channel of the words that are coming to you. So when we speak with confidence and authority, people can trust us, and then they can do business with us. So if you think of language selection and word selection as a mindfulness practice, it'll help you in every area of your life. And there are other ways to become more mindful, including getting better sleep, meditating regularly, journaling, chewing and tasting your food instead of being, watching a TikTok while you're eating your food. That's the opposite of mindfulness, for example.
Right.
So the first thing I would say is mindfulness. And the second thing is I would say is obsession. If you're an entrepreneur and you're not completely obsessed with your business, with your mission, and with your
Succeeding.
purpose, it's just so insanely challenging that if you're not obsessed, you'll find it too difficult.
Right. What I've learned is that words have energy. It's like sending vibrational energy. So if you're not confident and you don't have that, then you're not coming across as a person of being successful or being in that space of confidence.
Yeah, and the way you know that's true is you can take two people, one with the experience, one with the actual results for 10, 20 years, and they speak the words. And then you give another person who has no idea what they're doing, and you give them the same words, and you tell them to practice it 100 times. You can just feel the difference. That's the energy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how important is for a speaker to have a specific niche or a specific area of expertise? Like, how should they focus? Because let's say you have a new person coming into business and they want to create, they want to give, they want to help others, but they don't know where to start. What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah. So for the people who don't know where to start, and how specific should my niche be, I think it's the same question and I have the same answer, and it happens to be the most important decision you make in business. I think the most important decision you make in business is who you serve. And this could be called your target market. This could be called your ideal client. This could be called your avatar. And I recommend choosing one specific person and then becoming the best solution for that one specific person. And when you offer that one specific person exactly what they want, they buy. The moment you offer them exactly what they want, they buy. Now, what they want isn't always exactly what they need. That's the difference between marketing and service delivery. Sometimes you need to sell them what they want so that they can get what they need. Now, the reason why I say it's the most important thing is when you wake up in the morning and you feel excited and grateful to be able to serve this particular ideal client that you love your business. If you feel like, I got to work for these people because they're the ones who pay, but I don't really believe in that work and I don't really believe in those people and I don't really care about those people, you're going to hate your business. And you spend so much time with your business and your clients, you might as well love your client and therefore love your business. So if you're coming in, and let's just say you're teaching nutrition. I know you're a holistic nutritionist. What do you call yourself, Alexandra? What do you say exactly?
I specialize in women's hormones. Yeah.
Women's hormones. Okay. So it's hormones for women. And if I wanted to position you as the best in the world, I would say that you are the one and only hormone expert for women. Now that's a bold claim because there's a lot of people who help hormones with women, but let's go deeper. And let's say you're the hormone expert for women who are new mothers. Now that's talking about the niche, right? Now let's go even deeper. You're the hormone expert for women who are new mothers who are also Christian. Now you're almost probably nearly the one and only, right? But
so
if you're
being specific,
a hormone expert for Christian women who live in Canada. And the more narrow you get, the more likely you become a category of one. And when you're a category of one, you're the best in the world. You're the best in your ideal client's world. So when your ideal client says, wow, she specializes in my situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one way to surpass the competition, is to choose the narrowest focus of ideal clients so that they feel like they're getting the best, because you're the one and only who really gets their situation.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with right now, to narrow down that funnel of where they are, because there's so many businesses and so many genres of doing different I guess coaching or businesses in general, that this is a very good point, coming into that specific of what you're good at.
So in my experience, the fear of choosing and committing to a very narrow niche comes from, one, the fear that I may not be able to get enough business. What if there aren't enough Christian women in Canada who want help with hormones and recently had a baby? What if there's not enough?
Right.
And then the other resistance to choosing a narrow niche is, yeah, but I could help everybody. I mean, everybody has hormones. I can help men, I can help women, I can help Christians, I can help Muslims, I can help mothers, I can help grandmothers. And that's true. And when you choose a very narrow niche, that particular niche becomes so easy. You don't have to sell them. They come to you. In fact, there's a salon in Ottawa here. They specialize in curly hair. And there's a waiting list for weeks. Costs $150 to get your hair cut there. And it might be the exact same haircut that every other haircut place does, but they call themselves, the business is called Curly Hair Designs. Right? So I know before I even go there, they're going to have the skill I'm looking for. And I got curly hair. I was looking like, who can do curly hair? I did a Google search. There's the one. They're the one. You go to their website, it says, we do curly hair. Right? So it makes it easier to sell to that specific market. And as you know, as a hormone expert, you can help anybody. Yes. If a man comes to you and says, I got hormone problems, can you help me? You say, absolutely. Yes, I can.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
But it's like, you don't want to help. I mean, you could help everybody, but if you want to focus on that one specific area, or women in their 40s, for example, right? That's the area you would focus on. Yeah. I always find it that, because there's a lot of talks about, especially in the nutrition's world, is that women who I knew were becoming very territorial. It's because you're a holistic nutritionist. Oh my gosh, I'm not talking to you because you're going to take my clients away. And I think this is so wrong, because what I attract, let's just say we have 5 different colors in the pond. You have red ducks, you have purple ducks, you have green ducks, you have blue ducks, and let's say you have, I don't know, orange ducks. But I will be attracting those purple ducks, for example, right? Like you said earlier, is you will have your niche and you will attract these purple ducks. So you will not be attracting the other colors because they're not your ideal clients, right? So I think this work that you do, I think it's so important for all the people to understand that there's a lot of people out there that you can have work with, or you can work with people that you attract. So that's what I find it learning through this process for myself, is like, it's okay. You can have those people. Those are not my people that I can work with. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've had that experience a few times in business in 15 years, probably less times than 5. But there would be people who would say, well, why would I help you? You're my competition. And it's so surprising to me, because I occasionally forget that people are still afraid that there's not enough for everyone. You and I were operating in a frequency of abundance, and the other people are still competing for what they believe are scarce number of clients. There's no limit to the number of clients. There's no limit to the amount of service you can contribute.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. So how do you overcome self-doubt? So I think this is such a huge thing right now for people. Like you said earlier about women and the chakra, the throat chakra, there's so much self-doubt around people. How can people gain confidence and believe in themselves and their abilities of what they can do?
Yeah, confidence comes from remembering that you have a long history of winning.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we forget. If you remember that you've literally overcome every single challenge you've ever faced, you can remember that you have lots of reason to be confident. A lack of confidence or self-doubt is not really a logical experience. It's more of an emotional experience because we're afraid we might get it wrong. We're afraid we might upset somebody. We're afraid we might lose other people's approval or get other people's disapproval. So to cultivate confidence is to allow other people to have their own experience of you. Some people will experience you as competition. Some people will experience you as you're unqualified to be giving advice. You shouldn't be doing this and all this. You know, people have their experiences of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's exhausting to try to influence other people's experience of you or manipulate other people's negative experience of you. That's exhausting. So the real unlock is just allowing people to have their experience and, you know, just, you're right. I'm not qualified. You're right. Whatever. Just let them have their experience. You don't even need to really give it too much attention.
So would that something be that people would have to focus on their mindset, for example? Because if you
Yeah.
have those self-doubts and you have these, you're constantly beating yourself, right? It's
Yeah.
like, how do you change that? Like, I mean, there should be something that, people can work
Yeah.
on. So do you help people with that?
Well, as a matter of fact, I help people with public speaking, and
Yeah.
it's famous. Public speaking is famous for its ability to induce self-doubt.
Mm.
And self-doubt, when you listen to yourself with this doubt, they are thoughts. Thoughts are words, they're phrases, and they're also feelings. Feelings are sensations, right? So when you hear the phrase, turn it into the opposite question. So if the phrase is, I'm going to mess this up, the opposite question is, how could I get this right? Or if the phrase is, I'm not qualified to be doing this, the opposite question is, what makes me qualified? And when you ask a question, it directs your mind to find answers. So what makes me qualified helps you overcome this belief, I'm not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to get this right? Helps me overcome the belief, if you can identify the belief as, I'm going to mess this up. So in the absence of confidence, because we tend to forget that we have a long history of winning, we can use something else called courage. And courage is when we take action despite fear and uncertainty. And when you're up leveling, there's going to be uncertainty because it's a new level. There's going to be fear because it's stretching you. So those of us that are constantly growing and up leveling, entrepreneurs, most entrepreneurs, we're constantly dealing with this fear and uncertainty, this doubt. And so the solution is called courage. And courage, repeated frequently enough, turns into confidence. Courage is acting despite a fear and uncertainty. It's taking action. All the suffering, all the doubt is thinking. And so stop thinking and just do, just go. JFDI is one of my mentors' expressions. JFDI stands for just fucking do it. Just take action.
Yeah, that's my new mantra too. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just like with this podcast, just go and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm facing my own fears, my own doubts, my own everything with this, and I'm loving it so far.
Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So that will bring me to a question of what are the common mistakes that people make when trying to, for example, sell themselves?
Okay. So the first most common mistake is that people don't. They don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
They think about it. They worry about it. They plan about it. They build websites about it. They design logos about it. They have meetings about it, but they don't do it. So what does doing it mean? Well, you called it sell yourself. And even though it is you that's getting paid, it's not really you they're buying. And this is a misconception that, when cleared up, can be very helpful. So a lot of people think I should charge what I am worth. Well, what are you worth?
Worth.
You're a human. You're worth all the money in the world. It's not you they're buying. It's the result that they're buying. It's the transformation they're buying. In the case of your clients, Alexandra, you're the hormone expert for women. What are they buying? They're buying getting their energy back. They're buying getting their body back. They're buying getting their sanity back. They're buying feeling like themselves again. What's that worth? It's not what's Alexandra worth. And sometimes, we come from this school system that says you've done 18 years of schooling, and then you did 4 more years of schooling, and it cost you this much to get that degree, and then you spent that much more time to get that degree, and you spent that much more money to get this certification, and you should add it all up, and that should somehow dictate the value to the marketplace.
Right.
That's a lie. That's how universities sell expensive diplomas.
Right.
It doesn't really work like that. The market pays for results. So if someone can get me the result with or without a diploma, I want that, and that's valuable. We sometimes think about time as what's valuable. So I'm going to give you 100 hours to help you with your hormones. Well, if I can get the same result in 2 hours, that's actually more valuable than 100 hours. So we're not really selling ourselves, we're selling the result. And so the first mistake I mentioned is they're not selling. The second mistake is that they think they're selling their time, or they think they're selling their process, or they think they're selling their diplomas and certifications, when in fact, they're selling the results. Now, for example, if you're selling hormone transformation, if you say, we're going to take 12 weeks and we're going to meet every week for 60 minutes, and I'm going to send you 16 videos to watch, and I'm going to give you 10 PDFs to fill out, and I'm going to give you a book to do, and I'm going to give you recipes. If you think that's what you're selling, it's a very ineffective way to sell. A much more effective way to sell is 12 weeks from now, you're going to wake up and feeling like you have the energy of a teenager. 12 weeks from now, you're going to be making love like you're Casanova. 12 weeks from now, you're going to walk into your own bathroom, look yourself in the mirror, and fall in love with what you see. 12 weeks from now, you're going to be turning heads at the office. People are going to say, what are you doing? I need to do whatever you are doing. I'm loving this. That's what sells. That's what they want. That's what they buy.
Right. So how can people avoid these pitfalls, for example, where they in terms of selling themselves, but how can they pivot to selling what helps other people?
Well, I think it starts with improving your relationship to sales. So if you feel like selling is bad, I don't want to sell, I don't like to sell, I don't want to be
But again,
sales.
that's a mindset thing that people would have to work on. Right.
So I suggest redefining sales, not as the trickery of convincing people to buy something no matter what.
Right.
Instead, define sales as the art of helping people. It's the art of helping people figure out what they want. It's the art of helping people make a decision. It's the art of helping people understand their options. So it's by starting at the foundation of redefining sales so that your relationship with sales is so loving that you can say, I love sales. I'm good at sales. Selling is the most helpful thing I do for my clients, because every single one of my clients that's a success story started with a sale.
Right.
So learn to love sales and then learn to study sales, because sales is really the application of communication skills and understanding psychology. And when you improve communication, everything in life improves. When you improve your understanding of psychology, everything in life
Everything
improves.
improves. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. I think a lot of people too don't like that, don't have the understanding of what sales is. They just think that going to a dealership and the salesman attack you, it's a completely different genre of sales because there's so many different ways of selling things, right?
Everybody has had at one point a bad buying experience.
Right.
One time I came home from the store and I bought this beautiful purple button-down shirt and silver tie from Express Men at the mall. And I was a junior in high school, and that's what we call it in the United States when you're in your third year of high school. It's called a junior. Here, I think they call it grade 11. And I was going to the homecoming dance with my girlfriend. And I wanted a new purple shirt and a silver tie, and I felt like $1,000,000. And I can't remember if someone in the store helped me pick it or not, but I paid full price. It wasn't on sale. It wasn't from the thrift store. I paid full price for that tie and full price for that shirt. And, I was like 16 years old. That was probably a lot of money for me. And I'll never forget, I came home and my dad was so mad at me because I spent too much money, according to him. He likes to shop things on sale. If it's not on sale, you don't buy it.
Right.
And I felt like I did something wrong. I felt like should I have, what did I do? Like, should I have waited until it goes on sale? That's what my mom says. She's like, if you like it, don't buy it. Wait until it goes on sale.
Wait until it goes on sale.
Right? And if you want to really make my dad proud, like I made my dad proud when I came home from the thrift store with a used suit that didn't even fit and had a stain on it, but I got it for $3. So he's like, I love it. It's perfect.
Good job.
So I started to learn that stupid people pay full price. And I deserve to be yelled at to pay full price. And only if you're getting it way on discount can you ever be happy with a purchase. So now imagine how that influences how I sell, because we sell the way we buy.
Right.
So I would always start to sell by discounting. I would say normally it's this price, but it's going to be this discount. And if you buy it today, it's going to be that discount, because that's how I like to buy.
Right.
Not everybody likes to buy that way. Some people like to have the most expensive thing. You see the people who have their very expensive purses and they're bragging about how much it costs.
Yeah.
I want to get a discount on a luxurious handbag. That would be actually lowering its value, right?
Yeah.
So becoming more aware of how we buy and how that influences how we sell, and going back to the moments where we made purchases that we regretted later, or we felt uncomfortable in the moment. And now we're projecting that pain and suffering and trauma that we had from a purchase experience in the past into that sales conversation, when really we could just be an expert helping them understand their problem, offering them some options. And everyone has 4 options. If they have a problem that they want to solve, there's 4 options. Option number 1 is do nothing. And we can help them consider that option. So what would happen if you do nothing? Let's just have a look at that. What if 6 months goes by and 12 months goes by and you don't change anything? What would that be like? And if the answer is it would actually be totally fine, then they don't need to buy anything, really. They don't need to do anything. But if the answer is, well, gosh, things could get really bad. There could be more suffering. It could be impacting my children. I might get okay, let's consider that option. Option number 2, you don't pay for anything. You try to figure it out yourself. You go on YouTube, you buy a book, you read a book, you try to figure it out yourself. Let's explore that option. For most people, that's actually the slowest, hardest, most expensive, ultimately option. But it's an option, and a lot of people take that option, right? Option number 3 is pay for some other solution other than yours. It's a possibility, right? You can help them consider. Maybe there's more expensive options. Maybe there's less expensive options. You're just helping them consider that option.
Right.
The 4th option is they hire you. And not everybody, that's not the right option. That's not the right choice for everybody. But for your ideal client who's looking for someone just like you, that happens to be their best choice. And as salespeople, if we can just help them consider those 4 options and choose which one's right for them, we've done our job. Our job is not actually to convince them to buy from us. Our job is to help them make a decision and get the help that they need.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point because again, people are lost and they don't know what to do. Or they're trying to save a couple bucks and you said option two, they're doing all this research. And I've heard many, many times women who I talk to and they're like, oh, I've Googled it. Mr. Google told me exactly what I need or what's going on and all that stuff. Which again, like for me, I'm like, it's okay. You want to
Yeah.
ask to Google, then that's totally okay. It's your choice, like you said. Everybody has a choice in the way, right?
Well,
So yeah.
you can help them better understand that choice with this
Mm-hmm.
question. Without judgment, you would just ask,
Yeah.
how's that working out for you?
Mm-hmm.
You Googled it.
Where are you at? And yeah. Yeah.
Because
Or
if it
how are
hasn't,
you feeling
yeah,
in 10, 12 weeks you can ask. How are you feeling? Right? Are you still tired? Do you have energy? What's going on? So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Good point. Good point. So networking is huge in this industry right now, right? So what are some networking tips that or approaches that you would suggest, for example? Like where you can go, who do you connect? Is there events people would have to go to?
yeah. I can share from my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wrote a book on networking, and I built a course on networking, and I built my business networking. And I used to think it was about business cards and handshakes and going to the right events and shaking people's hands and then going home and writing emails. Hey, nice to meet you at the cocktail party last night. Let's get coffee next week. And
And people forgot about you. Yes.
and that builds relationships. And I came to Ottawa in 2008. And so I've been, what's that, 16 years?
Because originally you were from United States. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, So I went from zero to, I've got a contact database now that's over 10,000 contacts, and I've manually entered most of those. Uh, so knowing who you are is important and being able to communicate that. I help these people get this result. For you, I help women with their hormones. For women who are tired, for women who can't seem to lose the extra weight, for women who are suffering from mood swings, I turn them into high energy, grounded, sexy, powerhouse women. And then, if you're like talking to people and that's your sort of elevator pitch,
Mm-hmm.
then if you're talking to a woman, they're going to say, "Oh my God, I need to talk to you."
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're talking to someone who's like, "Oh my God, you got to talk to my sister. She just came back from the doctor. They said she's got thyroid issues. They're saying she has to have surgery. She needs to talk to you." Right. So communicating who you are. Building relationships is also about having genuine interest in the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to know who they are and what their hopes, dreams, goals, challenges are.
Mm-hmm.
So you can grow your network one person at a time by attending events. And whatever city you're in, Google the name of your city and the word networking event. There's one every night. There's one every morning. There's one every lunch. There's one every night. And I remember in the beginning of my business, I was doing so much networking, I wasn't even doing anything in my business. I was just going to networking events, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I'm just socializing. Like that actually wasn't getting me clients. Then I discovered something that took my networking capacity times 100, and that is speaking at events.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're speaking at events, you meet everybody, or at least everybody meets you,
Right.
and they meet you as an authority. So I've had people call me because they're seeing me speaking at events, and they're not even at the event because I'm in the advertisement of the event.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever the event is advertised, there's my name, my bio, and the title of my talk, the description of my talk, and my picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I work with my clients, we get those bio, speech title, and description so dialed in that if an ideal client ever even saw the description of the talk, they would pick up the phone and call and say, "I want to work with you."
Mm-hmm.
That's really powerful. Um, for me, I joined some masterminds, and masterminds are formal groups of people where the formal agreement is we are all here to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
There is no scarcity. We will all go to great lengths to do whatever we possibly can to help each other out. And together we all lift each other up. So I have a mastermind of men here locally in Ottawa. We support each other through personal issues, professional issues, wellness challenges. I have an international network of professionals in my industry who are in the wisdom economy, selling and packaging their knowledge. I'm in, so masterminds, speaking at events, and then using social media.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I think, is the best networking tool. I don't really do much on LinkedIn because I feel like I'm supposed to wear a suit and tie and use big words.
It's more business, yes.
Yeah. But Instagram, it's amazing. You can just message someone. And if there's someone you want to get on a podcast, and by the way, having a podcast is really powerful too, because you can reach out to someone and say, I'd like to interview you. They're going to say yes. But if you reach out to that same person and say, can I talk to you on the phone for an hour or have a coffee with you? They're probably going to say no.
Yeah.
So this, there's a higher value for us to get onto a conversation when there's a podcast. So what I love about Instagram, I can send a message, I can send a voice note, and I can send a video.
Oh, I love voice notes.
When I get random messages from people, I hardly read them. But if it's a voice note, I can't listen.
You got to listen to it.
So those are some tips I suggest.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you have a book. Can you share about your book?
This is Expert Speaker, 5 Steps to Grow Your Business with Public Speaking. It's been called the hottest book since 50 Shades of Grey. You can get it for free.
It's got the grayish, blackish colors in there, which is perfect.
Yeah. ExpertSpeakerBook.com will get you the PDF download for free. Okay. ExpertSpeakerBook.com. And this is a very interesting manifestation of my education philosophy, which is that I give away everything for free. Mm-hmm. And this book is a complete system for how to get speaking engagements, how to deliver what I call a signature speech, which is the speech that gets clients, how to make an offer from stage that people want to buy and doesn't feel salesy, and how to monetize the whole process from the speech to the follow-up conversations. And I give away the whole thing for free. And the reason why, I think this sometimes opens people's mind a little bit is my ideal client buys my book and then hires me. Maybe they read my book, maybe they don't. And I'm happy to know that thousands or hundreds of thousands of people are gaining value and applying what I'm sharing for free, because I only work with a small handful of clients and everyone else is just taking my marketing and applying it and getting value from it. And that's great. I'd rather them have my best stuff for free than say, oh, well, I'm keeping the good stuff for my clients. I tell all my clients before they hire me, I give everything away for free. What I'm going to do for my clients is I'm going to apply this wisdom to their specific situation.
Mm-hmm. What motivated you to write this book?
So this book is a very interesting manifestation. So first is I'm using this book to establish my authority. Mm-hmm. And the word author comes from the word authority. So I have a book. I have literally written the book on how to use speaking to grow your business. This is it, step-by-step system, the 5 steps. How I wrote the book is very interesting. This is my 3rd book. So my first book took me 2 years of struggling and writing and drafting. My second book took me 3 days because I learned a process. And the process is pick an ideal client and write them a step-by-step love letter to solve their specific problem so that your ideal client will pick up the book. They can't put it down. And by the time they're done with it, they say, oh my gosh, I got to hire this author. Mm-hmm. So I took that model, and one of the marketing insights of writing a book is, if you can't sell the book, it doesn't matter how good the book is. If nobody reads it, it doesn't matter how good it is.
Right.
And people buy books before they read them. They don't read them and then buy them. They buy them before they read them. So they have to buy based on a compelling title. So my book coach told me, if you can't sell a course for $200 with the same title of your book, don't write the book, because nobody's going to buy the book for $20 if they're not going to buy the course for $200. So I came out with this course title called Expert Speaker, 5 Steps to Grow Your Business with Public Speaking. And I made it $250. And I got 7 people to buy it. 4 people were live in person in my living room, and 3 people were on Zoom. So they came to my house, and I said, it's one day. And I said, I'm going to film the whole thing. I'll give you the recording. I'll transcribe the recording and turn it into a book. So 7 people paid me $250, which is $1,750 collected before I even opened my mouth to talk about the book. Then I had about 5 hours of teaching to do, where each PowerPoint slide would become a chapter of my book. So each PowerPoint slide has basically a chapter title and 5 questions. And questions are a great way to produce content, because when you get a question, you just answer it. So each chapter has about 5 questions, right? I recorded the thing on Zoom. At the end of the day, I said, listen, if you want me to coach you on applying this into your business, it's an $8,000 investment for, I think it was 3 months of coaching. And I'll take everything we just talked about today and we'll apply it in your business. 1 out of the 7 people said, sign me up. I want the $8,000 program, paid me on the spot. So now I've already collected $9,750 before a word was written. Then I took the recording of that one day, sent it off to an editor, and I said, transcribe this and put it into a book. She sent it back to me, and I read it, and I said, yeah, this is pretty good. And anybody who reads my book, they say, it sounds so conversational. It sounds like you're really talking to me. And I say, yeah, that's because it's a transcript.
Right. Of the coaching that I did, yeah.
So I'm not the best writer. I'm a pretty good speaker. So when I can take my speaking and turn it into written word, I can print it. Now, more often than not, I hand this to someone. They feel it. They go, this guy's the authority. He's the author. And then they hire me to coach them, because you and I know you can read a book and it doesn't change your life. Most people never open the book that they buy. Only 3% finish the book.
Yeah.
And very, very rarely do people apply what's in the book.
Right.
So for me, the coaching is taking all the wisdom and applying it to your situation.
That's a good point, because you're right. And again, I'm speaking for myself here. I open up a book, I'm halfway through, and I'm like, okay, I'll finish it tomorrow. Never get back to it.
Yeah.
And it's like I have probably about 6 or 7 books like this on a go, where I'm halfway, 3/4 in, and I never finished the book.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Long ago, book writing was the only way to get the information out there, before the internet. And now that we have the tools that we have of communication, of recording, of creating courses online, we can help people in a very media-rich, vivid way. So is there still a place for books? I think so, because it's a way of organizing your thoughts. And some people read the whole book and they get a lot out of it. I trust people have read my book and applied it and got great value. I'm very happy for them.
Right.
I don't feel like I lose a client when they take my book, apply it, and say, wow, I got everything I needed from this book. I don't feel like I lost a client, because that person isn't the kind of person that hires a coach anyway.
Right. Okay, so can you share any success stories, either with yourself or any other individuals who have effectively sold themselves as either speakers or as a coach or anything like that?
I'll share with you the story of my book coach.
Okay.
So my book coach sells a $35,000 publishing program. And the way she sells it is she has a 3-day event. And she worked with me to help me write my book. And in the process of getting to know each other, she found out that I am the top-rated trainer in the world out of 721 trainers in a company called Learning Tree International. And I run 3-day events for that company. And I've got it down to science. We've got checklists. We've got the slides are all dialed in. It's a science. So she calls me up one night. It's a Wednesday night at 9:00. My phone's ringing. Nobody calls me at 9:00, but it's my book coach, Angela. She calls me and she says, Majeed, I'm doing that thing I always do. It's the night before my event and I can't sleep. I'm worried about everything. I'm thinking about redoing all my slides. I'm thinking about redoing all my handouts. And what happens is I stay up all night redoing stuff, printing stuff into the last minute. And then my clients arrive Thursday morning at 9:00 and I'm tired. And it's the beginning of a 3-day event and I need help. So I thought to myself, I could help her solve the problem that she thinks she has, which is she thinks she can't sleep. And the way I would help someone to sleep is I would recommend chamomile tea, a bubble bath, count sheep backwards from 100, lay in bed and just go to sleep, right? If you need to sleep, go to sleep. But I also knew there was a deeper issue, which was that she needed to build confidence in her ability to deliver her program. And the way I would go about helping someone create confidence of delivering their program is take it apart section by section and improve it. And so I made her a very high ticket offer, which is to say I offered my services for a large sum of money. First, I asked her, what do you think it would impact your business if we could solve this problem? And she said, it would make millions of dollars. Her business was already doing millions of dollars. And everyone who comes to her house is a potential $35,000 client. Usually she has like 10 to 15 people come to this 3-day event. It's at her house. She offers a $35,000 program. Before working with me, she was doing about 20 to 30% of that room would convert into $35,000 clients. We took her program apart. And what we found was that there's so much teaching, it's exhausting. And there's not enough storytelling. Storytelling is a great way to communicate with emotion, making it more memorable, making it more engaging. So we turned 80% of her 3-day training into stories. She already had the story. She just didn't know that telling stories is a more effective way to teach, which, by the way, I'm doing right now, telling a story. And in her first time after working with me, first time running the 3-day event, she had an 81% conversion, which was 10 out of 13 buyers, which brought her an additional $350,000 just from becoming a storyteller. And best of all, now she sleeps at night before her event because we have it all in a spreadsheet and it's just like this story and then this story and then this story and then lunch break and then this story and then this story and then afternoon break.
So the stories are more engaging, right? Because people can relate more to the stories than selling something, right? Or going point by point, where it's more, it's more on the, I guess I wouldn't say emotional level, but it's more on the connectional, like spiritual maybe, or some sort.
Yeah. So my mentor taught me facts tell, stories sell. And another mentor told me that people buy with emotion and they justify with logic. And so stories happen to be the most effective emotion-inducing communication technology we have. It's the same thing they use when they teach religions. If you ever go to church, it's all stories. They're not explaining facts and explaining concepts. They're telling stories because they're emotional, they're vivid, they're memorable, they're sensational.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look behind the preacher at church, there's a big stained glass. There's like 20 different panels, and each stained glass panel is a story. So before we had TVs and projectors, they would turn around and point and go, let me tell you the story about Joseph and the lamb.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah. That story's been around for a long time though. It's just I think people also forgot about it. Or maybe we haven't really paid that attention to those because it just has been stories and we've been living that way. So now applying that into business, I think it's a little bit more connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, what would be your advice on someone who's starting this kind of journey as a speaker, as a coach, what steps should they prioritize to basically establish themselves in this world?
So start with the customer in mind, start with the client in mind, decide who you want to serve, and start talking to them. Because the more you speak their language, the more they feel you understand them. The more you understand their problem, the more they feel you have the solution to their problems. So as entrepreneurs, we are lucky and we get to be grateful that we have clients, that we have people to serve. We wake up in the morning excited, feeling fortunate that we get to help these people. And whether it's speaking or providing any kind of service, it's not so much about you. It's not so much about how you look and how you sound and what you should say. It's about your intention to help the clients. And when your intention is to help the clients and you can empathize with their pain and they feel like they have a friend in you who can help them, then the clients come to you. Then the money comes to you. Then the opportunities to share come to you. And you don't have to chase and follow up and cold call. It comes to you when your heart is there to serve the clients. For them to buy, they have to understand. You have to communicate. They need to feel understood when you're listening. So it's all about clients. Business is about clients. It's about customers. So pick a customer you want to help, start talking to them.
Any final word that you'd like to add?
Yeah, go download my book, expertspeakerbook.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Majeed Mogharreban. You can follow me on TikTok at Expert Speaker. I give away short, digestible videos on how to improve your communication. When you improve your communication, you improve your relationships, you get more clients, and ultimately you change your own reality. If you want to improve your reality, it starts changing the words that you use. For example, here's a simple shift. Every time you say, I have to, you're saying I'm a victim and I'm out of control. I have to pick up my kids at 3:00 today. Gosh, what a terrible thing. But if I say I get to pick up my kids at 3:00, I remind myself how grateful I am to have children. And I'm looking forward to seeing them. So replace have to with choose to or get to. So if you like that, I got a bunch of simple word replacements that will make your communication more effective. You can find that on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for sharing. Majeed, it was such a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. And congratulations on this podcast. Thank you for your contribution to humanity with this podcast you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.